I would definitely recommend community service learning to other students. I mean, it's been a fantastic experience. My role in the project was originally as part of the design team in Applied Science 330. I got the grant for the project, and now I'm working constructing it. Using cob as a building material because it's easiest for the students to participate in.
Where'd you get the straw?
From a farm. I guess working with the kids, we mostly had them brainstorm ideas. It was kind of interesting to see what ideas the kids came up with. I never expected to encounter the social side of any kind of project. I guess what appealed to me most about getting involved, building something that could be used by the community, something that maybe had a sense of permanence too.
I was volunteering with May's Place Hospice, and that involved just hanging out with people who were at the hospice and, running errands for them or going for walks with them or baking cookies. Being at May's wasn't just about how you would support a patient or a patient's family as they're negotiating death. Patients who didn't have a family or patients who were struggling with, addiction, HIV. It really brought home to me the types of things that somebody may be facing.
I was one of 6 UBC students that went down to Ecuador for 3 months on a health promotions project. In one of our communities, we spent a lot of time talking about nutrition and balanced diet, but the community was so remote and isolated that they had no options of getting, balanced diet. We decided to do a garden. So we spent a couple days turning the soil, building terraces, and actually planting vegetables, and hoping that it would be a sustainable garden that the community could benefit and try to balance their health needs. Being in Ecuador for 3 months made third world poverty my reality. And you realize that real basics are what you really need, water to drink that you won't get sick from, food to eat. But then you come back and realize we worry about things that aren't that important.
Does anybody here know what a neighborhood is? I was interested in finding out more about a child's perspective of their neighborhood and community as a part of their understanding of health. And so I thought what better place to be than in their communities and engage them in their surroundings that were familiar to them in order to get them to talk to me about what was important in their day-to-day lives, in their neighborhoods and communities. Okay, that's wonderful. And what do you do at the park?
This specific project that we're working with binners so we can facilitate and remove the barriers to recycling on campus. We're working to create a dynamic map to locate all the resource or the recyclable materials on campus so we can facilitate binning. At the same time, we want to take into account all the stakeholders, students, faculty and staff, and binners.
At the end of my 3rd year at UBC, I traveled to Medan, Indonesia, where I worked for 7 months. I was developing mental health programs with street children there to help them learn how to live with the difficult situations they face every day. We focused on the therapeutic effects of music, and the children actually recorded their own CD. We now hope to sell the CD in Canada, and from the proceeds, we'll put it back into projects with the children. Canadian youth need to learn how to think outside of the boundaries of their own community and outside of the borders of their own country.
About a year ago, I had an opportunity to meet with some teachers at the school here, and together we planned a basic computer literacy course for parents of children at the school. I guess the biggest challenge is the fact that I'm a young white male university student, and the parents were all young mothers, Chinese, mostly recent immigrants, so very different for me, especially in the form of the language barrier. It was challenging, but it was also a lot of fun.
Learning Exchange is an outreach facility in the downtown east side, and it's meant to bring people together from UBC and people in the community. Back as a student, I was doing a course assignment here. In a conversation with one person in particular here, one of the patrons, I learned that he had been traveling abroad quite extensively and teaching English as a second language, ESL. We started thinking, well, is that something that we could try doing here? Is that something that other patrons could also do? And the Downtown Eastside residents act as ESL conversation facilitators who lead discussions on daily life activities. It's really interesting because it's bringing two disempowered groups or underprivileged groups of people together to learn from each other. The challenge for anyone, I think, in entering any community, but particularly this one, is building trust with them and being accepted into the community. This is something I could never have learned in the classroom, and that's why I think this whole community service learning model really produces knowledge and understanding and can move us into making positive social change.